Welcome to the February edition of Free For All Fridays with the Bismarck Downtowners on Super Talk 1270. Oh gosh, this is Dawn Kopp. I'm the Executive Director of the Downtowners Association. With me is Kate, our fantastic everything of the office and association. And on our boards, working so hard as always, is the most wonderful Jim Walsh.
Happy anniversary.
Yay. Thank you. Yay. Yes, it is a big day for our show because today, 5 years ago, we did our very first one. Yeah! Woo!
Jim was still in his 20s. He had a handlebar mustache. Yeah. That was a long time ago.
Mutton chops.
Last time we were on. Hair, you know. Jim's been great. It's been awesome to work on the show and have a whole bunch of guests come in and talk about fun things downtown or interesting things downtown.
Can you imagine what was happening 5 years ago downtown? I mean, there's been a lot that's changed.
The first shows really were kind of ruckus. You know, we were just in here sort of laughing on the microphones and stuff. Now we're so much more professional.
Right.
Now, you know,
we never laugh anymore. It's unprofessional.
But it's been great. We want to thank Town Square Media for having us on every month for 5 years.
Woo. Here's to the next 5 and 5 and 5. Yeah.
Got a lot of events coming up, Don.
We sure do. And we have a really great show today. We have a couple of guests that'll join us. We have Hollis Hyde. She is the Executive Director of Northern Plains Dance right here in Bismarck, and she'll be talking to us about their weekend event called Dance Plus, one of my favorite events in the community. And in our third segment, we'll be joined by Faye Simer. She is with Stan Tech, and she'll be talking about the bike ped master plan that's ongoing right now in Bismarck. So a couple of really great guests we'll visit with shortly.
Yeah, we're super excited. A whole bunch of things coming up downtown or with our members. The first is tonight, live stand-up comedy at 1603 Main Events, which is just east on Main Avenue, a little past Simonson Station, right? A little past. Just keep going. It's on that side of the street.
16th and Main.
But they always do a great job. They have a bar. They've had stand-up comedy quite a
bit. That's what your favorite part would be, Kate.
That's part of stand-up comedy.
Well,
you got to loosen up the crowd. But they're doing a ton of events there. I think that is the mac and cheese thing coming up. They just do it
very soon.
Bazillion events. Yep. But check it out, 1603 Main Events tonight, Friday night, live stand-up comedy.
And like I just mentioned, this weekend, February 24th and 25th, starting tonight, going for 2 performances tomorrow, Northern Plains Dance will hold Dance Plus. And that is their what used to be known as Choreographer Showcase. This is the time when they showcase all kinds of different performances, dance stylings. And they also work with Bismarck Downtown Artist Cooperative to pair artist works with the dance performances that are happening each segment. So check it out. It's at the Belle Mayhews Auditorium tonight and 2 performances tomorrow.
Also tomorrow, again at 1603 Main Events, Trivia Night. They just started this. They did one a couple of weeks ago. I think you can buy a table or a ticket, but they're starting to do these Trivia Nights, which is a ton of fun. There's not a place to do group trivia, but 1603 Main Events Trivia Night, which is Saturday night, February 25th.
Coming up March 2nd through the 4th. West Region Basketball at the Bismarck Event Center. Who doesn't love a great basketball tournament?
It's kind of a North Dakota thing, too. And then you drive by the event center, and you're like, what's going on? There's a bazillion cars and
kids with all kinds of different
filled up
like T-shirts, high school T-shirts on.
It's pretty
fun. We're excited to host the West Region Basketball Tournament in Bismarck.
Also, March 3rd, again at 1603 Main Events, the 4th Annual Citizens of the World 2017 fundraising event is going on. This is a great event that supports people who work in other countries to bring the ability to have certain surgeries because you have an anesthesiologist. But they're doing some fun stuff with this event, so check it out, 1603 Main Events.
Really great event. Yep.
4th Annual Citizens of the World 2017 fundraising event at 1603. That's March 3rd.
March 9th, which is a Thursday in a couple of weeks, from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. The city will be hosting the Mayor's Livability Summit up at the BSC Energy Center. Yes. And so please take a look at bismarcksummit.com for more information. That is the event website. You can buy tickets to attend.
A lot of great speakers. I think there's 26 speakers, 5 panels. Monsignor Shea is giving some opening remarks, and Governor Doug Burgum is going to talk about Main Street Initiative.
It'll be a really jam-packed, fast-paced day, and it's a great way to hear what's coming up and share your ideas.
Also coming up at the Bismarck Event Center, obviously if we have West Region basketball, that means we're going to have State A basketball.
Woo!
March 9th through 11th. I used to go when I was a kid all the time, get some popcorn in a box, watch some basketball. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
So the State A basketball is happening at the Bismarck Event Center March 9th, 10th, and 11th.
Get your pom-poms ready.
I'm going to.
March 10th is Bega's 31st annual wine tasting up at the Bismarck Municipal Country Club. Gosh, that is another super fun event. I don't know how many wines you can try. There's like 400, I swear, or something, but in a great silent auction. So make sure to sample your wine, then bid. It makes it more fun. You can get tickets at Bega and by visiting their website.
Yep, bismarck-art.org. Also, March 18th, Bismarck Mandan Symphony Orchestra has one of their spring performances called Bring On Beethoven. So check it out at the Bell. Always a fun time. They always do a great job, usually bring in guest artists. So March 18th, Bismarck Mandan Symphony Spring Concert.
And right now, we are planning for one of our most fun events of the year, the Downtowners Art and Wine Walk. We are currently accepting applications for artists and musicians, and also we have a bunch of other applications available. Those are the ones that vendors and arts and crafts vendors and food vendors can apply for both German Days and Street Fair. They're all on our website, downtownbismarck.com. There are little buttons at the top. Just go to the event and apply. Join us.
Yeah, we're looking for mostly local artists and musicians, too, to display or to perform at the Art and Wine Walk, which is June 15th. So it's a little ways down the road, but we start planning right now. We've already gotten some great applications from artists and performers, but we're always looking for more. It's a great way to showcase yourself to 400-plus attendees who've had some wine, and that's a great way to sell some art and get your name out there. Also, one event that we want to talk about, and we'll probably talk about it in our next show in March because it's at the end of March, but one of our favorites, the Dakota Digital Film Festival, is happening March 31st at the Bell Mayhew's Auditorium, but tickets are on sale now. You can get tickets $15 in advance or $18 at the door. Go to dakotadigitalfilmfestival.org, or you can call 258-8767. This is one of our favorite events. It's a fairly new event, 5-6 years, something like that, but there's a whole bunch of short films that they pick. And again, when you hear about the film festival or you hear short films, you kind of think like it's serious or dramatic. These are hilarious or creepy or scary.
Oh gosh, one last year
really
scared
funny.
me so much for the entire year. I still think about it.
The dentist one?
No, the ghost one with the girl and her dead sister. That was so scary. Still think about it. It's only 10 minutes long. What an impact it made.
It's great. They have a lot of funny ones too, which is what I really like.
Me too.
To go to or just clever or whatever it might be. They also have some of the filmmakers there, so they take little breaks after some of the show maybe like 3-5 minute films at a time, and then take some break, talk to some of the filmmakers or talk about the films. And then during the day, they obviously have student sessions where students can show films. I believe that's free to the public. So during the daytime, March 31st, the Dakota Digital Film Festival. There's workshops and things like that during the day, and then starting at 7 p.m. is the actual film festival where they're going to show everything off. Lots of events and news happening in downtown Bismarck. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back on Super Talk 1270 AM.
Right now, 26.
Dave Ramsey is heard here. Super Talk 1270.
And we're back on Free for All Fridays on Super Talk 1270. You're listening to the Bismarck Downtowners. Oh gosh, we'd like to introduce our first guest today, Hollis Hyde. She is the executive director of Northern Plains Dance. They have some really great things happening.
Friend of the show.
A great friend of the show.
Oh, shucks.
This is very...
we only have a few people with that
That's
title.
right. We are celebrating our 5th Free for All Friday anniversary today.
Really?
5 years ago we started the show.
Cool.
And so it's very appropriate that that you're joining us.
Well, that's awesome.
As our friend.
Thank
friend
you.
of the show.
Hollis, you guys have a lot coming up, obviously Dance Plus tonight and tomorrow, but let's talk a little bit. Just a couple weeks ago, you guys were a part of Giving Hearts Day.
Yeah.
If people don't know, it's a great way to donate to local charities and things like that. How'd it go?
It was amazing.
Good.
So Giving Hearts Day is always the Thursday right before Valentine's Day, or hopefully one of these years it will be on Valentine's Day. And it's a big statewide giving drive. And Northern Plains Dance's goal was $7,500 before our matching funds, which were $4,000. So we actually made a total with our matching funds of $21,000.
Oh my gosh.
So as a result, the staff wore tutus for a week. I did some shoveling in my hot pink tutu, and I got some really weird looks on Main Street. So
That's how to do it.
Yeah.
That's how you shovel. Let's talk a little bit about what you have coming up tonight and tomorrow. Obviously, it's Dance Plus. People used to know it kind of as a choreographer's showcase. Talk a little bit about the name change, and is there a change kind of in the performance as well, or why the name change?
So a big name change is because after 10 years of calling it Choreographer Showcase, we just sort of said it's time for a new, fresher look. Choreographer is actually, it's a word that's really commonly used where I work, but it's not really a common word for other people. So we said, let's just talk about what it actually is. The whole idea is that it's dance plus other forms of art. So hence the Dance Plus. Plus it has a really cool logo.
Always helps.
Yeah,
Yes.
which is kind of nice. So the format of the show hasn't really changed. We have just sort of stepped up our game a little bit. So if you hadn't been to Choreographer Showcase, the deal is that we work with local artists to do paintings that are projected on the back of the bell. So they work as like the set pieces for the dance in front of them. And then we try to involve live music if we can, and just sort of as much as we can do to make sure that we incorporate all local arts. And it's kind of cool because every year it's that same drive, but it ends up being a completely different show.
And with Northern Plains Dance Plus, you've been working with Bismarck Downtown Artist Co-op to
Yep.
do some of those backgrounds. Who are the artists that you're working with
You
this
put me on
time
the
around?
spot here. So this is one of the little tweaks we made, changing it from Choreographer Showcase to Dance Plus, is we actually met with the artists almost a year ago. And basically said, we have this project. We have 7 choreographers that are working on 7 different pieces from 7 different inspirations and using 7 different kinds of music. And what we want to do is we actually want to build a collaboration up front. So 7 artists submitted samples of their work. And then the choreographers chose who they thought could best represent their vision. And so all of the paintings in this are actually created specifically for the dance pieces that you're seeing. So I can give you an example. Mine, I picked Graham McLaughlin as my artist because he does very colorful, abstract stuff. And that's kind of my gig. And we had a long talk about the fact that my piece is actually based on teenagers and how I keep getting older and they keep staying the same. So there's a little bit more eloquent, explanation, but that's how it boils down. And he did a very, very cool piece that is actually, he titled it Beginnings, which I think is a really interesting thing, but it looks sort of like an abstract sun sort of rising. And it's really neat because it very much reflects our conversation about my piece.
Isn't
so.
that a Matthew McConaughey thing? Isn't that from Dazed and Confused? He
Oh, no.
said something about high school girls. I get older or something, and they stay at the
Yeah,
same
his was a
age.
little bit different connotation,
little
but
bit
yeah.
little pervier.
Kate
Yeah.
also said that her favorite part of the day was the bar. So
I know.
Right.
It's Friday.
It's
I
Friday.
know.
There you go. So Graham McLaughlin, Allie LaRock, Anthony Nelson, Gretchen Biederman, Mary Lindsay. I'm going to get the other. Brian Crow and... it'll come up.
Did you say-
No, not Paul Newt.
not the Newt.
No, the Newt did not.
Our favorite downtown artist.
He
Paul
did
Newt.
not submit artwork for consideration, even though I
What
nagged
in
and
the
nagged
world?
and nagged.
Paul, you're being shamed live on the
I'm
radio.
sure.
Yep, and you are not listening.
Bum.
But the cool thing is he was there last night setting up, so BDAC is having an art opening in the lobby, so featuring the artwork that's actually projected on the stage. So Paul is involved from that aspect.
And is
he
that
was there.
artwork for sale?
It
then?
is.
Paul,
Yes.
you're forgiven.
Yep, Paul, you are in fact forgiven.
Halfway at least.
Yep, and I already have my eye on 2 paintings. And if my husband is listening, sorry, because I might buy 2 paintings tonight.
Sorry, not sorry.
But not sorry.
Yes.
My husband has been very sweet, and he's bought artwork for me secretively at the show before.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
I'll put a sticker on the ones I want.
Oh, he's
you go.
pretty nifty.
So you have a performance tonight at 7:30, and then tomorrow matinee 2:30, and then 7:30. How much are tickets, and where can people get them for Dance Plus?
So tickets range from 16 on the floor to, I'm going to blank, more expensive than that in the balcony. But all of our tickets are available online, and ticket pricing information is all available there. And then they are available 1 hour prior to show times at the Bell. But the best way to get them is online.
That's
right.
northernplainsdance.org, right? Is that right?
You got it.
You have we just want to talk a little bit, obviously Dance Plus tonight, tomorrow, but then you have Snow White coming up May 12th, 13th, and 14th, also at the Bell. Tell us a little bit about that show. People can also buy their tickets right now for that show, right?
They can, yes. You can shop for both at the same time. So Snow White will be May 11th through 13th, I believe, and 12th through 14th. 12th through 14th. There you go. Yep. Thank you for having that written down in front of me, by the way.
And we need the times. We also have the times for you.
So we haven't done Snow White in 7 years, so we're pretty excited to revisit, dust off our glass coffin, and get back to work. So we actually have auditions for those next weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll get started then.
Is it Snow White Disney, Snow White Grimm's, a mixture?
This one's a little bit more Snow White Grimm's. Yeah, we tend to shy away from the what we refer to Disney-fied version of fairy tales. We try to go a little bit more with the classic telling. Even though many of them are incredibly dark, we try to tweak the ends so that we don't have, depressed children leaving.
They were fairly dark.
Right? Yeah. So a slightly Disney-fied version of the Grimm.
Awesome. We're talking with Hollis. She's with Northern Plains Dance. They obviously have Dance Plus tonight and tomorrow. Snow White happening May 12th through the 14th. Talk a little bit about, day-to-day, what you guys do, our classes and things like that. How can people get involved? When do they start?
All of the good
Do you
stuff.
have to wear a tutu when you're outside shoveling?
Yes, that's actually a requirement
part of the
now.
class.
So
yeah, you can't leave the door anymore. You have to slip on your tutu first.
I like that. We're going to make it a requirement.
I think so.
So classes are ongoing throughout the school year, and registration is open all the time. Classes start, regular classes start at age 3. We do have a certain number of classes per week for parents to take with their children who are 9 months to 3 years.
Okay.
And those classes are called Dance Together. They're pretty cute.
I like that.
And then we have classes all the way up to adults. And those, like I said, are ongoing all the time. We are getting very close to releasing our summer camp schedule. In the summer months, we do 3-day themed camps that are in the mornings. So you can pick as many of those as you like. Little craft time, little dance class, little snack time. Yeah.
Nap
Keeps
time?
you busy.
Yeah.
Oh, nap time?
No.
Is that part
Nap
of
time
it?
for me when
Okay.
that's over.
I like that.
Yeah, you need a nap.
My ears will always perk up.
When we were at Choreographer Showcase Dance Plus last year, you had a few young men that were a part. Are you seeing more young men be a part of the
We
dance?
are, yep,
Okay,
and it's
good.
really great. It's such a cool option for young men, and I'm going to brag a little bit. Our oldest guy, his name's Nathan. He's actually in Dance Plus, and he's really spectacular in this show. He actually got a almost full ride to study at Winnipeg Ballet's summer program.
That is just impressive.
So he is off for I think 5 weeks to
Really?
Winnipeg to study with a professional company, and I'm a little concerned he might not come back.
He has to come back.
Yes, he does have
and
to come back.
you have to stay, and you can't follow him either.
Oh, I wasn't. Yes, I think there's not much risk of that.
Okay, good.
I'll stay.
Yay! So Hollis, you've got, again, when we said Dance Plus coming up tonight, and then obviously a matinee tomorrow and an evening performance tomorrow. You can go to northernplainsdance.org to get tickets. Get tickets for Snow White. Is that your last kind of performance of this season?
Yep,
and then
correct.
you have the summer.
Yep.
When do you normally release your schedule for the rest of the year then? The rest of 2017 into 2018?
So we usually early August.
Early August,
Yep. And we try to push it back if we can, but early August is really our goal to get our season announced. And I've got some plans. So.
Do you want us to suggest any real creepy Grimm's things? Because we've been going through them for German days.
Oh, have
and
you?
reading
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
Road trips are full of grim fairy tales.
Oh.
Also,
Work road trips.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to suggestions. I probably won't take any of them with that sort of lead in, but.
And then obviously you have your classes this summer starting out. Obviously, we're looking for some young men to get involved in dance as well.
Yeah.
Especially so they can lift
Exactly.
women, or, you know.
You got it. And, if there are any young men out there interested, we are getting very close to releasing a new boys-only scholarship.
Wow.
And you heard it here first. So so that's
the
something
scoop.
to kind of keep an eye out for.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Hollis with Northern Plains Dance. Again, Dance Plus happening tonight at the Bell Mayhews in downtown Bismarck. Performance tonight at 7:30 and tomorrow at 2:30 and 7:30. Get your tickets online at northernplainsdance.org. We're going to take a quick break And we'll be right back on Super Talk 1270 AM.
Right now, 26.
Weekends with Twilight Zone Radio on Super Talk 1270.
And we're back again on Free for All Fridays with the Bismarck Downtowners on Super Talk 1270. Thank you very much to our first guest, Hollis Hyde with Northern Plains Dance. And make sure everybody to check out Dance Plus this weekend. Get your tickets online at northernplainsdance.org, or you can also pick up tickets prior to the show. Well, we are going to get into our next segment, and we want to welcome Faye Seimer. She is with Stantec, and our next guest. Hi, Faye.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for being with us. We're very excited to discuss the bike ped plan for Bismarck.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about, we see that the city of Bismarck and Mandan with the MPO are just getting into the bike pedestrian master plan. Don, don't use those ped terms.
I get excited.
Bike pedestrian master plan. But first of all, maybe tell people a little bit what is a bike pedestrian plan and just the general overview of what you're looking at.
Sure. So the purpose of having a plan is to put in place and identify policies that will guide future programs and projects in Bismarck and Mandan that will enhance bicycling and walking in the two cities. So to give you an example of the kind of policy cities might adopt, they might adopt something like bicycling and walking should be safe and comfortable for users of all ages and abilities. And then when programs and projects come up, they can look to that policy to guide how they might think about that project. So an example at the federal level is that folks have taken a closer look at the countdown signals that are at intersections that allow pedestrians to cross, and have observed that the timing at some of those intersections means that you have to be able to walk pretty quickly.
Sure.
And so if we're looking to make biking or walking safe for someone of all ages and abilities, there's actually a movement to adjust those signal timings so that people have more time to cross the street, and that's going to make them safer when they do so. A couple other examples of things that cities might do is, again, if we have a plan in place that says, where are our priority locations for biking and walking?
Sure.
Say a project comes up to reconstruct a roadway, and there's an opportunity to add bike lanes or some type of facility there. Having that plan that says this is a priority location helps guide that decision, so you're not asking yourself every time if this is a location where bike lanes are important or not.
Sure. Faye, talk a little bit about, from your experience and what we've seen here in Bismarck. We have some, share rows and a few painted on-street lanes with no buffers. Talk a little bit about, what you think is the best kind of bike lane setup here. We talk a lot about, there's this kind of smaller percentage of people who might wear, we call them like spandex. They'll wear spandex, they'll bike commute, but that's really not the big majority of people. And so when you're looking at maybe developing a bike lane, what do you think is the best kind of bike lane with buffers or things like that for people, outside of maybe that spandex group that are really comfortable as an on-street biker?
You're really hitting on something there. I think the best biking facility one is one that is both safe and comfortable for a wide variety of users. And you're right, in the biking world, we talk about different kinds of cyclists, and there are a group out there that's, fearless, they're comfortable, they ride on the road a lot, and they're ready to ride anywhere. That's a pretty small group. There's a much larger group of people who are interested in riding, but they might have some concerns about their safety. Maybe they're pulling a trailer with their kids behind them, and they want to know that those extra protections are in place. Maybe they're used to riding on an off-road trail. Bismarck and Mandan have wonderful trail systems. So they're used to riding their bicycles, but they might not have experience riding in traffic. And so when we look at adding bikes to our roadways, we're looking at the kinds of facilities that people can feel safe in those spaces. And there's a lot of great innovations out there now in in addition to putting paint on the road to striping a bike lane, you can actually add a protective barrier between that bike lane and the travel lane. Communities do this different ways. They can put up flexible traffic posts. They can even put in like planters and medians and landscaping. There's a whole different level, but the point is a lot of times having that extra separation is what it takes to make a facility comfortable for a wide group of people to try it. And again, this is something that we want to make accessible to everyone.
And Faye, obviously we're in downtown Bismarck. We consider ourselves one of the more walkable neighborhoods in the community, and we have, generally a high walk score. But when you're talking about bicycling in the community, talk a little bit about how you would measure success, because a lot of what we hear, concerns that we hear, is no one's using those on-street lanes, and maybe it's the way they're designed. But what do you think is a successful on-street bike trail, and how would that maybe be part of this plan in terms of trails to avoid? Is on-street paint just not enough to really get a good amount of users to use an on-street trail?
A couple of questions you asked in there is on-street paint just not enough? It really depends on the location.
Sure.
So on a low traffic street where there aren't a lot of cars, maybe that is enough. But on a busier street, that might not be enough to make someone feel comfortable. In terms of measuring success, one of the things that we're looking at as part of this planning process is getting some counts in place of how many bikers and walkers are using our system.
Sure.
That's a really important metric to have because without that, we don't have a good way to evaluate crashes. We don't know whether our facilities are getting more and more use over time or not. So this is a really important thing to have, and that's something that the NPO and the cities of Bismarck and Mandan are initiating as part of this plan.
We're talking with Faye. She's from Stantec. She's working with the Bismarck-Mandan Metropolitan Planning Organization on the Bismarck-Mandan Bicycle and Pedestrian Plan. Faye, talk a little bit about, we're just launching, we've got a steering committee, but how can people in the community get involved, give input, give ideas? What's the plan for that as this plan moves forward?
I'm glad you asked. There's a lot of great ways people can get involved. First of all, we have a project website. It's bismanbikewalk.com. And on that website, people can offer comments. We've got two different, we have a survey and a wiki map up on the website. So the survey shows different pictures of different types of facilities and asks people if they would be comfortable walking or biking there. It's fun. It's a picture-based survey. It's quick. You can take it when you're standing in line at the grocery store. Kids can take it too, so I encourage everybody to, again, go to the website and check that out. We also have a map up on the website of Bismarck and Mandan's roads and biking and walking network, and people can add lines and points to the map and tell us places where you want to be able to bike or walk more comfortably, where you've experienced crashes or near misses, where you think more bike parking is needed, and you can actually show that to us on the map. So again, both of those are on the website, bismanbikewalk.com.
Awesome. I'm excited.
We've also got a couple of other things going on. We have some community kiosks that we're going to have posted around town over the next 3 or 4 weeks. There's one up right now at Midway Lanes in Mandan and another at the World Memorial Building in Bismarck. They're going to move around. They'll be at the YMCA's, the Aquatic Center, Mandan Brave Center, the Golf Dome, at some of our bike shops in the cities. So look for those. And again, there are images of different bicycling facilities, and people can put stickers to show us what they like and what makes them feel comfortable.
Will those locations be on the website? Will those locations be on the website as well, so people can kind of decide where or know where they will be located as they move about?
We're still nailing down our schedule.
Okay.
But I will say that the survey on the website has the same images up, so people can provide input that way if they're on the website.
Great. Awesome. So bismanbikewalk.com.
If I may, I wanted to add one more opportunity. We are having our first public meeting next week, March 2nd, from 5:30 to 7:30. at the Bismarck Park and Rec Center, and so that's another opportunity for people to come have a conversation with us in person.
We're very excited about it. Obviously, in downtown Bismarck, we talk a lot about walkability. We're just starting to kind of talk about bikeability, what makes people feel comfortable in those pedestrian areas. So very excited about the MPO's bike and ped plan. Again, Faye said if you'd like to get involved, and we'd like you to get involved. We do have great on-street trails, we have great off-street multi-use trails through Bismarck Parks and Rec. Probably one of the best things about this community that people point out a lot, I think.
The trail system outdoor.
But we just got a bicycle-friendly community designation, our bronze level, and so the cities of Bismarck and Mandan want to keep that moving forward. But I think there's a lot of comments about on-street lanes and how you'd feel comfortable in that biking on street, and so I'm sure they'd love to hear some comments and things like that. Again, Faye with Stantec, go to bismanbikewalk.com. There's some surveys, wiki maps to fill out, and then she also mentioned that March 2nd, 5:30 to 7:30 is going to be kind of an open house at Bismarck Parks and Rec office on Front Avenue. So we're super excited about it. Faye, thank you so much for joining us and being a part of the show. Again, if people want to find out more about the Bismarck Mandan bismanbikewalk.com. That's the website to check out. Faye, besides the steering committee and the open house March 2nd, are you going to have other open houses as well?
We will have an open house toward the end of the summer with a draft plan.
Okay, great.
That'll be around September, so we'll have notices out in August letting people know when and where that is.
We'll keep updating as well.
Yep, on the show. Thank you so much, Faye, with Stantec and the Bismarck Mandan Bike Ped Plan. Things coming up, but if you want to find out more, go to bismanbikewalk.com. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back on Super Talk 1270 AM.
Right now, 27.
News and Views with Joel Heitkamp. Weekdays on Super Talk 1270.
Thanks for sticking with us on Free for All Fridays with the Bismarck Downtowners on Super Talk 1270. Thank you very, very much to Hollis Hyde with Northern Plains Dance.
Friend of the show,
Hollis Hyde with Northern Plains Dance. And Faye Seimer with Stantec, both joining us today on our show for a couple of really great and informative segments. We always love talking with interesting people, and those ladies definitely fit the bill.
It's always a great Downtowner show when you can talk about dancing, choreography, stand-up comedy, state A basketball, biking and pedestrian master plans.
That's right.
Downtown kind of has it all. That's again why we love downtown. I think that's why other people love downtown.
And it has chirping birds on a whim. It's always lovely in downtown Bismarck.
I do like chirping birds.
I'm so glad they're back.
I know.
And the snow's going away.
Oh, thank God. It's just been, it has been really nice. But yeah, it's nice downtown when there aren't snow piles to walk over.
Exactly, and a lot of ice to slip on. I'm really good at that. So I really appreciate when the snow starts to go away and the ice is all melty.
We wanted to talk just a little bit about what we have mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, which is the Bismarck Livability Summit. The Downtowners will be presenting there on a panel, as we mentioned. So basically the summit is a couple months ago, an advisory group to the mayor came up with a survey. They want to know what Bismarck's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. I filled out the survey. I think a lot of people, I think they had over 1,500 people at least fill out the survey, which is
a really good response.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they just want to know, coming up in Bismarck's future, what are some issues? What are some things that we can capitalize on? And so they're going to be unveiling the results of that survey at the summit March 9th at BSC. You can get tickets to the summit at bismarcksummit.com.
Right.
I think we just passed the early bird deadline, but still think about getting your tickets because there's going to be a lot of great presenters there.
And if you haven't taken the survey, visit bismarcksurvey.com. There's still time to take that before they start compiling all the information. So make sure to check out those links. This will be a really great event to attend, especially if you want to learn more or have really interesting things to share.
Yeah, I think I'm really interested to see how people answered the survey. What did they think about, where Bismarck's going and Bismarck's future and how we can do more with what we have, or new ideas or anything like that. And so we've got some really great speakers. Obviously, Monsignor Shea is going to be there. The mayor will obviously be there. And then Doug Burgum will be there to talk about the Main Street Initiative as well. I think he's closing the survey, closing the summit, not the survey. So we're really excited about it. Again, go to bismarcksummit.com, check it out. We'll be on a panel, but we'll also be there listening to all the other panelists and having questions and answers with them.
Giving out free high fives.
Free high fives.
We're good at that as well. So
Hugs, $1.
Right.
But it'll go to the Downtowners. So
Punches,
that's okay.
$5.
Also, as we mentioned in our last show, our January show, the infill and redevelopment plan is coming back to the City Commission next Tuesday. We will be there. This is basically, I wanted to name it the infill and redevelopment plan, making neighborhoods awesome in Bismarck. They didn't take my suggestion, though.
They really should have. I think they would have maybe gotten a little more information or feedback had it been...
Could have jazzed it up.
That's right.
And so I think, I really like this plan. There's a lot of things that we do in downtown Bismarck already that are in this plan, but looking at other Bismarck neighborhoods, like branding a neighborhood. I live by... I call it Hillside Park, but I think it's called Lions Park.
But people know it as Hillside.
Right.
Maybe you just say Hillside, and then people understand what it is.
And so, what are the architectural features in my neighborhood? What should the name of the neighborhood be? Should we have banners that say the Lion's Den neighborhood? I'm putting my suggestion in right now. Where do you live? I live in the Lion's Den neighborhood. Here we tend to kind of talk about our neighborhoods via a big feature that's nearby, a park, a church, a school, a Capitol.
Right.
This is more about neighborhood branding, like the Cathedral District, things like that. So that's one thing in the plan that I'm really excited about. Keeping neighborhood schools open is obviously another great thing in the plan. They had some suggestions on some neighborhood branding in districts, and one that I thought was really interesting in Bismarck was that area kind of east of the bistro and south of the railroad tracks. There's a neighborhood kind of in there, some smaller homes, and there's a whole bunch of kind of industrial machining type industry just by the tracks that they wanted to call like the machinist neighborhood. And I thought that's cool.
Pretty cool. You could do a lot with that.
You could. And Hollis, who was here at the show, one of her employees, Mackenzie, lives in that neighborhood. And when we mentioned it to her, I thought it was really hilarious. What you come up with. And things like that, the whimsical things or the things that help brand the city really help us market the community as well. So we're happy about the infill and development plan. I think you still view it on bismarcknd.gov. If you want to look at the plan, there's like 19 points. Keeping neighborhood schools open, neighborhood branding and identity, a whole bunch of things like that. But check it out, bismarcknd.gov. Infill and redevelopment plan, making neighborhoods super duper awesome.
Every time Kate mentions it, she adds a little bit more of a qualifier, a little bit more jazz.
I'm super
excited.
Stuff. Also happening downtown, as Don mentioned, we're looking for artists and musicians to apply to be part of our Art and Wine Walk, which is June 15th.
6th annual Art and Wine Walk.
I'm excited.
Oh gosh, I just love being able to showcase local artists and musicians throughout this event and really showcase what talent we have in this community. And boy, do we have a lot, because we have some phenomenal artists and musicians that join us every year.
And it's a really fun event. People just are happy and have fun. We have, more than 20 different locations that are serving a different wine and obviously showcasing a different artist or performer. So it's always a great night, especially for our retailers and service providers. We have a lot of fun. So the Wine Walk's going to be June 15th, but right now we're taking applications for artists and performers.
We're taking applications for all kinds of events.
Yeah, as well as German Days, our early bird application.
Yeah, get those applications in.
Sure.
We're looking for some more food vendors. We probably have about half of the spaces filled, so we need about a half more, and however many that will be. And we also could use some craft-type vendors that do some type of traditional Germanic kind of craft, or sell something fun. Just check out our website, downtownbismarck.com. There's a German Days button. You can go there and find the applications.
You can go to bismarckgermandays.com as well, which is the own German Days site.
Yep. So either way, you'll find it either way. Our longest standing event, Street Fair, we're accepting food and arts and craft vendor applications for that. That is September 15th and 16th this year, our 44th annual. Holy schmoly.
It's been It's been crazy. It's just, I can't believe it's been 44 years. That means I wasn't even going to be alive for 10 years when they started.
Rub it in, Kate.
I'm so young, and my skin is not wrinkly.
But you're still not as young as Jim.
I know. Last time we were on the show, the Downtowners, we were talking with Jim a little bit, and I said that his voice sounded like chocolate pudding, right? Butterscotch pudding. Mm-hmm. It's just smooth, Jim, smooth. We really want to thank Town Square Media again, and we're celebrating our 5-year anniversary of being on Free for All Fridays. We've had a ton of guests. We've been able to talk about a lot of great initiatives happening downtown, news happening downtown, events. We've brought a lot of our members onto the show. And so, again, we want to thank Sid and Jim and everybody who's been a part of the show over the last 5 years.
That means 60 different shows, approximately. What?
5 times 12 is 60?
Yeah. Good. Yep.
Something like that.
That's right. Sometimes Jim would take it on the road with us when we used to host Rib Fest. He'd come down, talk with us, sit in the RV while it was raining. Usually it was raining.
Hashtag memories. I know, Ribfest, that was a rough one. Sometimes with the weather. In June in North Dakota, it can be dicey.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get in June, but Jim was always there with us, and gosh, we appreciate that so much.
And we hope he's with us for another 5 years on Free for All Fridays with the Downtowners. If you want to learn more about Downtown Bismarck, you can go to downtownbismarck.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/downtownbismarck, on Twitter at downtownbiznd. We're also on Instagram, Downtown Bismarck. For Don Kopp, the incomparable Jim Walsh, I'm Kate Herzog with the Bismarck Downtowners. We'll see you next month on Free for All Fridays on Super Talk 1270 AM.